One Arcade House, the best places to help your friends get your gaming goodness each and every Monday. My name's Dylan Blight. Join me on the couch this week, Ashley Hobley.
Hey Dylan, excited to be here on this week with absolutely no earth-shattering news that will change video games forever.
Forever?
Yep.
Wow, okay, fair enough.
Maybe.
Aussie, Kieran Marchant.
I wish I had the skill to both be at the BAFTA. Sorry. I'm sick.
Keep on.
I wish I had
Keep on.
the skill
Take two.
that was both attend an awards show and dunk on the death of one of my rivals at the same time.
Yeah, it's pretty good, right?
It's an impressive feat, even though it is inspiring and one of my fondest memories,
I gotta be honest, between Jeff Keighley like just shitting on the game on E3.
He didn't even hide it.
Yeah. And then Greg Miller just owning every PC game this week. It's been a week of just people just all in on their bits on Twitter. It's just full all in. That's fine. But yeah. This week on the show, of course, we're talking about E3. It's cancelled for another year. Will it be back? We'll talk about it. A surprise indie game has picked up the big award at the BAFTAs that just happened. And we got 10 minutes of tears. I still don't know. Until the day it's released.
Still unconfirmed.
I know they've said it in the video, but I think it's still unconfirmed.
I think it's confirmed as tears, even though tears sounds way better. I
think until Mr. Nintendo tells me off, I'm going to continue to say it's
also,
debatable.
At the same time, I preferred it when Johnson's baby shampoo was no tears, and you thought you could just pour it in a child's head, in their eyes. But no, it's no tears.
That's a very weird connection to make off the Zelda game. But that's
did
fine.
nobody else think it was no tears for Johnson's baby shampoo? Because that's what I always thought. But no, apparently it's no tears. Yeah. It's not going to rip any hair.
Who thinks about tears for their hair? Am I right?
I know, right?
Fucking hell. Had no
no tears spraying in your eyes. You're like, oh, what the fuck? This doesn't work.
I love it. Dylan was like, I'm going to power on through to the show, and actually no, we're swerving back into the bit.
Fucking hell. We had no major reviews go up this week. I had, from many of us, one review that we'll give a quick shout out for.
About to say.
It's a bit rude. Yeah.
No major.
I was saying from none of us.
Except
none of us
Jacob.
None of us talking about it. Jacob put up a review for One Piece Odyssey. He gave it an 8.5. He said it took quite a while to beat, because One Piece, the anime that has 10 million episodes, and of course the game takes about 10 million hours to beat. But
it makes you watch all 10,000 episodes as part of the game.
Well, yeah.
Including fillers. There's not even a skip filler option. It's kind of shit.
He said, One Piece Odyssey will satisfy you if you're a One Piece or a challenging RPG fan. There was always plenty for me to do, see, read, and explore. The battle mechanics were hard to master and add to the game. I really can't see what the team at Ilka can come up next. So Ilka did this. They previously sort of were in a mix for doing a lot of ports and upgrades and stuff, including the Pokemon Diamond and Pearl thing, which they caught a bit of slack for. But this game, from what I can see, has got a lot of really good reviews, which is weird because these anime games usually do at best mediocre, I feel. But this One Piece Odyssey one seems to be a winner for most people, because it does this whole, he talks about in a review, it does this weird thing where it covers 4 arcs from the anime, but then they're introduce some character that's hey, magical reasons, you just won't remember this stuff. So then they cover the same beats as the anime, but an explanation why you can sort of make choices that aren't seen in the anime while still having it be canon, I guess. Yeah. So I don't know, which one of you nerds watch One Piece? Surely one of you.
I've attempted to watch One Piece, but
same.
I don't think it's aged that well. And I think I'm 140 episodes in, and people are like, man, after this one arc, it gets pretty good.
I've tried, but I'm 140 episodes.
Yeah.
I've tried to give it a go.
You know what? No. This is how bad it is and how much I was trying to get through One Piece.
It's 7 hours.
I was watching that dubbed. I was playing games and watching it dubbed on the other screen because I was I just need to get through this shit.
Kieran, don't bother. Don't even try. Just wait till the Netflix adaptation later this year. That's the good. That's going to be the good shit.
Ooh.
Yeah. They nailed it with Cowboy Bebop. They're going to nail it with that One Piece.
They nailed Death Note as well, right?
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. They nailed both their coffins, is what they did. Yeah. All right, big
And now
news
the
of the week.
casting, at least.
Press start. After publishers such as Microsoft and Ubisoft confirmed that they would not be attending E3 2023, IGN has confirmed with several ESA members that E3 2023 has officially been cancelled. The cancellation email reads that the 2023 version, quote, simply did not garner the sustained interest necessary to execute it in a way that would showcase the size, strength, and impact of our industry, end quote. And then they've also provided a full statement provided by ReadPop to IGN that says, this was a difficult decision because of all the effort we and our partners put toward making this event happen, but we had to do what's right for the industry and what's right for E3. We appreciate and understand that interested companies wouldn't have playable demos ready and that resourcing challenges made being at E3 this summer an obstacle they couldn't overcome. For those that did commit to E3 2023, we're sorry we can't put on the showcase you deserve and that you've come to expect from ReadPop's event experiences. And then Press Start continues, E3 was already facing a decline prior to COVID, with PlayStation pulling out in the years earlier, and Nintendo confirmed that they wouldn't return. With Microsoft and Ubisoft pulling out this year, among other publishers, it was pretty clear there was no way forward for a return. So, yeah, I'll get my take out of the way, just so we can just bounce around on that. Not surprising. I don't feel like this news shocked anyone in particular. So that's one thing. It's not something I in particular celebrate because it's like, and that just feels weird it's to be like, fuck you. Like, I know E3, there was that one year they fucked up and like the company running it at the time leaked everyone's details, and that's like sort of this black cloud that hangs over their shoulders. However, ReadPop was going to be running it this year. It was going to be someone different. So they're the same people that run PAX. I think they must have looked at the numbers and thought that what they could put on, worst case, what they could put on was still so bad, because even canceling the event now, they lose whatever they paid for the venue, like the holding costs or whatever, and that's going to have been a lot of money. So they weighed it up and did all that sort of thing. And just as I don't really care if E3 exists or not. What I do care about is the celebration of physical events dying, I guess is what is my like sort of thing. Do I care if E3 comes or goes? Not really. Do I find it weird that we consistently celebrate when physical events die out and people continue to be like, yeah, I just want all these streams. I want all these streams. I just want these streams, like everyone can just do their own showcases. I think that's weird to celebrate. Because that's just odd to me. Like, it's in a world where we can have more of it. No, not
Is
really.
Is it odd that these people would be like, I don't really care as long as I can get the stuff that I want the way I want it?
Because in my mind, you're celebrating the idea that publishers you would rather have all the information funneled to you via their events where they can have everything pristine and perfect and whatever else, compared to a world which we did have previously where E3 happened, you got that for 3 days, you got this showcase, you got their presentations, everything, you got to see the word come out of E3 EA's mouth about all this stuff. Half of it was bullshit, some of it was true, who knows. But then you had people on the floor and you had people playing the games going, hey, behind closed doors or not, they were saying, this game, it looked great in that trailer, it sucks. Or people, this game, I got to see gameplay, you only got a CGI trailer at the Ubisoft press conference, but I've played it, and this thing looks amazing. So it's we lose that part, that voice is the thing that sort of, yeah. So it's not, I find it weird. It's not surprising E3's dead. It died years ago. None of that's surprising, but yeah, I don't know. Kieran, hit me with your thoughts on this whole situation.
I have a couple of results. I thought it was really nice today. On social media, there was a lot of positivity coming out of this in terms of people sharing their memories of E3 and sharing things that they're grateful for the E3 convention and the original conferences. I touched on it in the intro. I actually thought it was really...
bad taste?
I don't know. I think it was really bad taste by Jeff Keighley. Not only did his initial tweet where he shared a picture of him and a Duke Nukem cosplayer being like, hey, E3 is such a great thing and I'm so fond memories of it, but at the same time, I started to build another show when I realized that E3 wasn't evolving with the culture and stuff.
Quote, here's me, 15-year-old at first ever E3 in 1995. E3 meant so much to me and to so many of you too. 4 years ago, I realized E3 wasn't evolving as it needed to complete in a global digital world. So we started building what's next. See you at Summer Games Fest, June 8th.
And then he doubled down again and then did another tweet that was just a direct promotional tweet for Summer Games Fest.
I'm pretty sure, like before all of this, as soon as the news came out from IGN this morning when I was getting ready for work, he straight away just like tweeted something about, "Hey, Summer Game Fest is back!" Like, like pretty much straight away, like just jumped on their grave.
It's no matter what. From the point of view of him is you know you're out of this on a positive anyway because you've kind of moved out your competition. Yes, just let E3 have the day to be cancelled and people to kind of not so much mourn it, but but reminisce about E3 and then talk about your Summer Games Fest in a couple of days. Come out in a couple of days' time and be like,
could come in Monday and like, damn,
could have given
Summer
it the
Games
weekend.
Fest.
Here's
what we're doing. Bam, 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 bam.
Also be like, hey, any game developers that were originally only planning to show at E3, chat to me. I'll see how we can get you involved with Summer Games Fest so you can still be promoted and looked after during that time. Even if, there was not that much that was going to be at E3, still looks like good guy Jeff. Now he just looks like a bit of a dickhead.
It depends on your point of view. There are definitely people like, yeah, Jeff.
Yeah, that's
kill that old man.
Did you refer to E3 as an old man? Like,
yeah,
that's the
okay. But as a whole, I think I'm on the I guess a middling ground to you, Dill, where I think it sucks that E3 is going and we're not getting that point of view. But I think in the last 3 years where E3 hasn't been the focal point, gaming in terms of communication with developers, publishers, and the audiences has been at an all-time high. It's crazy. Nintendo used to be this like nocturnal beast that would like rock up every now and then and be like, yo, games coming, here's everything. Now Nintendo, even if some of them are full of crap and they're nothing, are releasing, monthly showcases. We see from developers more time. Sure, I'm going to miss the PlayStation events when they were massive, when they were really big events and they had massive trailers and massive announcements and cool performances. Of course, I'm going to miss those. I don't necessarily need people there to be like, hey, this game sucks. It sucks great. Because I think sometimes that curbs too many people's impressions and kind of hampers games in ways that they don't need to be. But also at the same time, we get more events like Jedi Survivor just had a big event where it had multi play-ins for press all around the world. I saw people from America, Australia, the UK all playing that game roughly on the same day at events so they could talk about it on their websites. I think in a lot of ways,
I don't care.
Yeah.
No, damn. Star Wars superfan James Woods. I saw.
Yeah.
Over
He's
there.
never said a bad word about Star Wars.
Yeah. Star Wars apologist James Woods.
We were on the invite list and then they saw we had a show called The Mandalorians and they were like, yikes, let's they some of them weird Star Wars
I knew it was a big trip for James the second I looked at his Twitter that night and he's like, The Mandalorian is the best show ever.
Man, Jon Favreau could do no wrong.
Do no wrong, this guy.
But no, I think there's a mixed bag to come out of this announcement. Not all good, but definitely not all bad. Also, it should just stay dead. Don't go back E3. Sorry.
I guess my thing is like, so you're saying like it's I like getting Nintendo Directs, but when is Nintendo at an event where the public can play their stuff anymore? This is my thing. Like, there's something that to be said at least. Like in a world where E3 happened, in a world where Nintendo went there. And I'm saying like they weren't coming this year anyway, but like in a world where E3 still turned up to Nintendo, Nintendo still turned up to E3, and they do their treehouse thing after the E3, and the public's able to go there and play something and talk about it and stuff. There's something about that. Like it's just like this whole we're getting everything funneled through just 10-minute. We're going to talk about Zelda Direct after a little bit later. Like 10 minutes gameplay footage, but no one gets to play games anymore. Is that how we? Is that the thing? We just watch trailers.
Yeah.
Am I celebrating that?
When you play games when you get the game, and more demos. I feel like we're going to get more. Maybe not from Nintendo, but I feel things like the Steam Next Fest and events like that are just going to become more common and more people available to play these games and these demos. We just had there was the Resident Evil 4 remake demo prior to its release. I think we're just going to go back a little. It feels like we're going backwards in some ways, but I feel like the public is going to get more hands-on with demos that they weren't going to get access to, and only a small amount of people were getting access to in E3.
Yeah. I mean, if they do more stuff at Steam Next Fest, that sort of helps. There's still an aspect of an old digital world that I can't... Like, more Next Fest stuff meets me in the middle, but there's still an element of like actually playing, when you play an indie game at PAX and the developer's there and they can watch people play, you can talk to the person. You know what I mean? Like there's just there's an element of this, let's celebrate the old digital future. Let's celebrate a world where all these events just die off. Fuck yeah, that's awesome. I'm like, not really. Like I'd like to be able to still talk to people and play the games and discuss them with them and it's friends will be like, oh, we're talking about E3 dying, Dill. We're not talking about PAX. I'm like, yeah, we're not talking about PAX now.
Now, not yet.
Not yet. Just saying, like, if you just want to keep saying that these events should die, like, it's a slow decline.
I think PAX is different, though, because PAX is built for the audience that are attending, when E3 wasn't really ever built for its attending audience.
No,
E3
it was built for the attending audience. It's just the attending audience changed over its journey. Obviously, starting off as a direct to purchases event, an industry event, and then outsiders desperately wanted to be involved. And I mean, it's interesting. It definitely feels like they just didn't pivot up quick enough, especially this year when there are rumors that they didn't communicate exactly what they were going to do. With past years, we've seen crazy things with like 7 stages all over the floor, and there's going to be live streams of all these people doing crazy things. There's going to be a bunch of celebrities all over the place. I
can't remember what company was going to do that before it fell apart.
Yeah, there was never like a clear message or widespread message to everybody exactly what they wanted to do. I mean, yeah, it's disappointing that obviously it is cancelled. I mean, it is sort of this weird highlight of the year, even though it's not. There won't be an E3. I'm sure we'll still call the period that it would be there E3, or not E3 as we've called it in the past couple of years. It's especially as someone who grew up and like watched a lot of the coverage that happened out of E3, read just listened to different podcasts and like people finding new games every single day to try out and discover and love and that kind of stuff. You can't really replicate that online, I don't think, in the same way.
No. You go to have lunch and someone's like, oh my God, have you played whatchamacall over at this place? No, I haven't. You should go there afterwards. Like, there's not that. That's there's just.
And from media experts who know their shit, not just us random dudes.
I know my shit. Talk for yourself. Talk about yourself. Talk for yourself.
I mean that's also a part of it. It would have been cool for us to go to E3 at some point. I mean, that would have been like.
I mean, I for years that was always when I was a teenager. It was like one of my dreams.
Wish list.
Yeah, like wish list. Top of wish list was like I want to go to E3 one day, more than Disneyland. Like.
And yeah, obviously E3 has kind of taken hits with like different people, like mainly PlayStation, Nintendo dropping out the last few years before COVID, and not being involved and having their showcases and stuff. But I think there's still hope for an E3 again, but it's not. It's just has to not be the same. It has to essentially be PAX LA. That's the only way it can survive, you know?
Well, I
and
guess
E3 itself in a name has got enough recognition that it could prove useful in the same way that
I don't think it
a
has,
Telltale
though.
is worth, the name Telltale is worth sustaining.
Yeah. I don't even think E3 has the name worth sustaining anymore. I think this year is the proof of that, right? Like, if E3 alone was enough, then I don't think it. You know, I don't think it
like I said, you have to
cancelling.
completely pivot. From what I understood, from like some one of the business developers, they were like half the expo hall is going to be like strictly for business people and doing business deals and that kind of stuff, and the other half will be like an expo hall. And if there's not much,
that's how E3 always was, though.
Yeah, but yeah, but if there's not going to be any industry people there, I mean, there's no point.
There's no point, no,
paying for that. So I mean,
and there was people. The memes I was seeing leading up to today was people being like, "Oh, E3 is going to be like mobile games, a bunch of AI developers, and a couple kind of AA games here and there." You know,
and Embrace
it wasn't going to be anything big. Yeah, and
Embrace a con.
I actually think. Do you think that year that E3 took off because of pandemic stuff? I think that's what killed E3.
I mean, to a degree, like when people it went missing for a year, and people were like, "We can survive without this."
Like, because it made developers and publishers realize, okay, we've got other channels that we can use to get to our audiences. We don't have to go to E3 to get to our audiences.
As much as Jeff wants to be like, "Oh, 4 years ago I realized this, blah 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 blah." No, Jeff, COVID happened, and you decided to do Summer Game Fest. Like, you know.
He quit E3 though, you know, so he did technically see the writing on the wall.
Yeah, but still. Question of the show then is E3 dead, Kieran? Is this it?
Yes, I hope so. I just don't think, as I called, you know, actually bringing up Telltale is the perfect one. I am forever calling Telltale the company that's wearing Telltale as a skin suit, you know? I'm forever just referencing them until they do something that's worth the Telltale name. And I think that's a really big ask, because I think even Telltale at the end of its time wasn't very Telltale. But I think it's past its time, its expiration date, and now it's moving on to Summer Games Fest or to other events, to PAX doing something, or another organizer finding a way to move forward and proceed with that position. I don't see E3 coming back.
Ash?
I definitely think there's the potential there, you know?
That's not the question.
I think they will be back in some form. E3 will happen again. You know? Whether it is them complete, like I said, it's PAX LA just with the E3 name, or Microsoft comes in and buys it and they have the whole expo.
Sony will fight that.
You know,
Microsoft can't
they'll be like, no,
fight it so hard.
You know,
they won't.
No, they won't. They'll bring back that will make them bring back PSX. That's what, you know. That'll be the straw that breaks the camel's back.
No, because they'll be like, Sony will be like, no, but we want to go to E3 now, even though we haven't been for a while. But if Microsoft owns it, they won't give us as much time as they'll have on their stages. Probably.
I mean, the deal's so small. 100%. I don't think they'll have really anything to combat it with. You know, like a couple of coupons and they can buy that E3 name. Yeah, I mean, they just need to go back to basics. Like, probably go super indie. Maybe the next time they come around, you know, like the PlayStation. You know, PlayStation 3, 4. Went super indie to start off with, nothing but indie titles, built their fan base on that, and then then you can bring back all the big titles. I think what you're talking about is 4, yes. Yeah.
3 was built on Ridge Racer.
Yeah, okay.
4 was built on, hey, all these other third-party games for the first year and a half of its fucking existence.
And then when it's cool enough, then you can bring back all the AAAs.
Yeah, I think it's done. I think this is it. I don't think E3 comes back.
Bloody
I think that
pessimists.
The
thing is, this was it coming back, right?
Yeah.
Like this was its attempt at coming back.
This was supposed to be the return year, yeah.
And it didn't even make it to going to the show. Like,
no.
We talked about a couple of weeks ago with the game.
I mean, if it didn't come back, it didn't come
shortcoming.
back. So there's still a chance for it to come back.
It tried to come back and it fell over before it could even come back.
It sprained its ankle, It's
normal
injuries.
You deal with loss and like stuff ending worse.
So hopeful.
You just cannot accept. Something happened to you as a child. I don't know what that I was like mentally
got abandonment issues.
Yeah, abandonment issues, yeah. Let's talk a little bit about Summer Game Fest then. So yeah, here's what is happening for your non-E3 period as of now. This will probably get added to
see, non-E3. E3 name lives.
Yeah. I think I'm just gonna refer to it. It's just Summer Game Fest. Yeah. So you've got Summer Game Fest on June. So I'm reading off the Verge. So they've got the American date. So probably it's the day after for us or whatever. But so they've got June 8th, Jeff Keighley Summer Game Fest. So they write, since 2020, Summer Game Fest has taken E3's place. It's the industry's collective summer news blowout with reveals like the first gameplay trailer for Elden Ring, and with Naughty Dog's standalone Last of Us multiplayer game in 2022. Summer Game Fest is already teasing a look at the new Cyberpunk 2077 expansion this year and has promised that 2023 event will be its biggest ever. Summer Game Fest 2023 will take place live in Los Angeles at the YouTube Theater. Then on June 11th, Microsoft's Xbox Game Showcase and Starfield Direct. The 2022 showcase was jam-packed with news, including 15 minutes of Starfield gameplay, the announcement of Overwatch 2 being free to play, and the reveal that Hollow Knight Silksong would be released within 12 months of the show. They've still got a few months. Hopefully, the 2023 event in LA is just as exciting, and if not, there will be a dedicated Starfield show to look forward to after it's over. Then you've got June 12th, Ubisoft Forward's been announced. Ubisoft was actually going to be at E3, but it bailed just a few days before the convention was officially cancelled. Instead, Ubisoft will be hosting Ubisoft Forward Live in LA. The company hasn't said what games will be at the show, but I have to imagine Assassin's Creed Mirage will be at least one of the featured titles, etc., 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 etc. So that's what you got.
There's
you look
game
at.
You're not mentioning.
Yeah,
maybe we'll see the oft-delayed Skull and Bones.
Yeah, your favorite game, eh?
Yeah, which one's more likely? Skull and Bones comes out or E3 lives again?
Skull and Bones comes out.
I don't even think that's happening. It's so dead. Look, at least Summer Games Fest, they can cut the lights. 3 green dots can appear on the screen.
It's not going to be the same without a crowd. Oh, man, but he does have a crowd, doesn't he? So
He does have a crowd, so believe.
Old Jeff's always got a crowd. Yeah, I expect more stuff to be announced. There's a bunch of other developers and stuff, of course. Sony may or may not do something. Nintendo may or may not do something. Like you've got the third-party stuff, THQ's thing. You've got a bunch of Annapurna, like they did something last year. There's a bunch of other stuff that could get announced as well. Previous years, of course, we've had nearly about a month's worth of shows happening spread out throughout the entire month of June into early July.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah. So it's busy. It goes from a busy week, a busy 3-4 days, to a busy 6 weeks. It's fucking so to a degree.
Well, I mean, it
miss
still
E3.
is a busy 3-4 days. Like, I feel like
this is
at least
3-4 days,
4 or 5 different showcases that go back to back, like the PC showcase, the one of the future, whichever
direct,
one was
future
had
game show, Wholesome Direct,
Data Devs,
all that stuff,
Your boy Devolver will rock up somewhere.
Devolver, yeah.
They tweeted, we won't be in the car park, but like what?
Yeah, they have to find a new place to set up.
Yeah,
Summer Game Fest outside the YouTube studio.
I was about to say, does the YouTube theater have a car park? They're in. All right, let's
make a car park outside.
I think that's a little bit probably even beyond them. But let's talk about Australian law. It's just serious, right? Press Start writes, the Australian government is coming after loot boxes with its latest classification reform. The Australian government has made an announcement this morning putting forth some proposed changes to the national classification scheme that affects video games, in particular those offering simulated gambling and loot boxes. The proposal, which you can read about in the media release, as well as the full review, concerns a rating of video games containing loot boxes and game of chance mechanics, linking them to research these features to real-world gambling harm, pushing to get these games out of the hands of younger players by assigning them a minimum rating depending on the severity. That's a word I struggle with. Severity. Whoa! Under proposed reforms, games containing paid loot boxes would carry a minimum rating of M. Mature, not recommended for players under the age of 15. And any game that contains simulated gambling would immediately carry an R18 plus, not for sale anyone under the age of 18 rating, which is a pretty bold move that would make a massive impact on the market if games suddenly like FIFA and NBA went from GPG ratings to an automatic M. The review explicitly points out, quote, casino-style games where the player cannot cash out winnings, as an example of ladder, but it's unclear if this would extend to many regular games that include in-game casinos like Dragon Quest 11 or Yakuza games, or in-world games of chance, or if the context would be taken into account before automatically slapping the R18 plus rating on it. Kieran, what do you make of this? What do you think of this world where, you know, Overwatch, FIFA, all these things that it doesn't matter if they're, you know, the violence is nothing, M. Loot boxes, M.
I think that's expected. Like, the thing is, I think so many, I feel like Australia is just too late on the draw here, right? Like, I feel like so many games have already pivoted away from loot boxes because of European law and American law changing to look at loot boxes like last year or the year before. I think so many of these developers are already moving away from it. Like, you know, Overwatch doesn't have loot boxes anymore. I guess booster packs, but FIFA isn't going to exist anymore. So I'm sure in EA Sports Ball Night, they'll just won't have a loot box system. They'll just use something else, including something like a battle pass. I think the battle pass is the way to go for most developers now. I feel like, yes, cool, you're doing the right thing, but you're too late on the draw with this one. And it's just kind of a law that they're going to go to developers to be like, "Oi, you do this," and they're going to be like, "We already are. We're already done." Oh, okay, no worries. Carry on then. I just don't think. Yeah, I feel like it's just a bit late on the draw. That's all.
How about you, Ash?
This is going to have absolutely no effect whatsoever. Purely based on the fact that any parents out there don't give a shit about the ratings. It's as simple as that, you know?
The classic stories of kids buying GTAs or parents buying GTAs for their kids.
What's the biggest game in the world at the moment? Fortnite. What's that rated? M. How many kids do you hear in the chat every single match you have? All of them. All right.
It's Fortnite rated M.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, well. What for?
Mature audiences.
To be honest, I actually think anything that has like a multiplayer component and
violence
chat,
on online interactivity,
even
interactivity.
Like, yeah, or any kind of just voice chat or anything like that should have M slapped on it. I just think that should be, even though it's not even going to do anything, I feel like that should be the case anyway.
Yeah, that's fair.
So really, it's a pointless law.
Yeah,
I feel like it's not pointless, or it's just a really old this. Like, ideally, it should have just been pushed through. Like,
ineffectual.
Yeah, ineffective.
It's going to be ineffectual. It's going to make no real tangible difference. There might be that one mother who's like, I don't let my child play any M-rated games. No FIFA for you.
No EA Sports for you.
You'll have to play. Yeah, no EAFC for you. Play this version of FIFA 19.
Yeah,
I can
see that's only rated PG.
That's the thing. They're not going to go. They're not going to retroactively change fucking ratings. So yeah,
someone's job at EB Games is go around and slap a M rating on every secondhand copy of FIFA they've got.
Maybe.
Imagine. All right, BAFTAs. Press start writes, Vampire Survivors has won Best Game at the BAFTA Awards. So continuing the BAFTA Awards, BAFTA Game Awards, the annual award ceremony from the British Academy of Film and Television Arts, has come again for 2023 and handed out accolades to a collection of notable releases from 2022. This year's awards saw fairly similar group of nominees to other recent events like the DICE Awards and the Game Awards, with many of the same heavy hitters like God of War Ragnarok, Elden Ring, and Horizon Forbidden West picking up numerous nominations, while the indies were led by games like Immortality, Tunic, and sweeping the biggest of the wins, Vampire Survivors. Yep, the surprise hit roguelike shoot 'em up from a developer Ponsel, I've never had to say that, has taken out the best game trophy at this year's BAFTAs, which a huge achievement for the game. God of War Ragnarok also received a major nod, taking out the fan-voted Game of the Year award, which is it's such a slap in the face. Hey, you won Game of the Year. The fan vote one, the fan one. But Ash, as someone who's played this game,
yeah,
what do you think about it picking up the big Game of the Year award at the BAFTAs?
Fan voted.
I mean, what if I told you Ponkel was a UK studio?
Yeah.
Would that make more sense?
I mean, I don't really have any arguments about it winning, but yeah, that helps, I guess. Explain that.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. I feel like that gave it probably an extra couple of points that maybe put it over the edge, especially with the votes split so heavily between Elden Ring and God of War. I mean, it's cool that, Vampire Survivors is a really good game, really fun, from a very small team. Been a surprise hit of the year. But yeah, obviously very contradictory to every other awards that's been out so far this awards season for video games.
How do you feel about it, Karen? As someone who I don't believe has played the game.
No, I think
is British.
I think the BAFTAs
and as someone who's British, yeah.
As someone who's British, I think the BAFTAs always have a unique viewpoint on the rest of the gaming sphere. A lot of the times they are outliers compared to the rest of gaming award shows. So I think it's really interesting to not only see what games get awarded their game of the year, but what other things. I really respect their lifetime achievement, not lifetime achievement, but the equivalent award they gave to Shuhei this year for his contribution to
the
to
fellowship
gaming.
or whatever.
Yeah, the fellowship.
Award,
I think that's really cool. Combine that with seeing Shuhei holding a giant cock this week was a great combination of the great man, But no, I appreciate the BAFTAs for that, but it's a very unique perspective on the gaming culture.
For context, it was a plush cock. Move on.
For people, I still don't know if that's enough context for some people, but that's fine. We'll continue with it.
Just look, go onto your web browsers, type in Shuhei Yoshida giant cock, and just see what you get.
Just go to my Twitter. I believe I retweeted a picture of it. You can find it there. Probably without ruining your Google search history. That's fine.
That's what
just run through the
incognito mode's
other
for.
stuff
Jesus.
quickly. So animation award went to God of War Ragnarok. Artistic achievement went to Tunic. Audio achievement went to God of War Ragnarok. Best game, of course, Vampire Survivors. Best British game went to the Roller Dome development team. Debut game went to Tunic. Evolving game went to Final Fantasy 14 Online. Family game went to Kirby and the Forgotten Land. Game Beyond Entertainment went to Endling Extinction is Forever. Game design went to Vampire Survivors. Multiplayer went to Elden Ring. That's a funny one.
That's funny as actually. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Music went to God of War Ragnarok. Narrative went to Immortality. Original property went to Elden Ring. Performer in a leading role went to Christopher Judge. Performer in a supporting role went to Leia de Leon Hayes. That's Angraboda, which I don't think she's won anywhere else. It's always been Old Mate.
Well, they don't normally have a supporting role category.
I guess so, yeah.
So
technical achievement went to Horizon Forbidden West, and then the fan voted game went to God of War Ragnarok. So all in all, I think that's a decent winners list of games and stuff. So
I mean, it's interesting. Rollerdrome winning Best British Game over Vampire Survivors. So it was really Rollerdrome the best game.
No.
Or it just had more cricket and fish and chips and
Roller Dome, at
football
least
tournaments
as far as I can recall, has none of those things. But that's fine. It's got guns and
in the
roller
background,
blading,
in the source code.
Yeah, maybe. All right, last thing for the week. Let's talk a little bit about the Legend of Zelda 10-minute direct, or whatever they called it.
Just before we go into this one, because this will be super big, and I meant to ask you guys about this week. Because you both enjoyed the game, right? Did you guys know that MultiVersus was in open beta?
To answer your question quickly, this was a topic of discussion for Platt earlier this week, and the answer is no, we did not.
It was a surprise to literally everyone except for Player First Studios.
Yeah, I'm waiting for someone to tweet, I knew. Still haven't seen it. Sorry.
The fact that it came out and they've just yoinked the game, and like, that's crazy to me.
Yeah, they're like, we were in open beta. We told you. And to be fair,
they did tell us it was. We just assumed
it was like early access or something. Like
it
open,
been,
whatever.
Like the usual like Fortnite open beta. That
was like Fortnite was in early access for years, and then they were like the games, and then overnight they're like, it's out now.
Technically, Fortnite did the same thing. They get rid of the whatever the other
that's still
original
there.
Part was.
Save the World's still there. You can play it.
Save the World's still there.
I thought they got rid of it.
No, it's
just a second choice. You can just nobody chooses to play it. That's
no one chooses to play it. And the most annoying part is all the trophies for Fortnite are associated to Save the World.
Save the World, yeah.
It's bullshit. No wonder I don't play it. No fucking trophies for me to get.
So carry on to Zelda. I just need to ask.
All right, so the Verge writes Tears or Tears if you're caring, whatever.
Just read the name out, Nintendo. Just tell us what the name is. Listen, people. I know you're listening. We're gonna have a bunch of We're gonna have a bunch of showcases in June.
Oh, just they said it's Tears.
At the end of your trailer, just say the name of the game.
They say
verbally.
It at the start. They say
with audio. I don't care about it. I'm still going to call it Tears.
So Tears of the Kingdom is only a scant 44 days away, they write. To celebrate the game's impending arrival, Nintendo dropped a 30-minute mini direct featuring gameplay and a sneak peek at Link's new abilities. Tears of the Kingdom, formerly known as the sequel to Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, was originally slated for a 2022 release. It's coming out May 12th. E.G. Onama, the game's producer, released a video in March 2022 stating that Nintendo decided to work on development a little bit longer in order to make this game something special. One of the biggest new features in the trailer, or shown off today, was Link's new fuse ability, where he can take everyday objects like a log or a rock and mash them together to craft weapons. It was fascinating to watch Onama create useful weapons on the fly, and his demonstration of creating a homing arrow by fusing a monster eyeball of an arrow was seriously impressive. Ultra Hand is another of Link's abilities and assists him in creating larger objects beyond the weapons. The car we saw in one of the Tears of the Kingdom's earlier trailers wasn't something Link found in the wilds of Hyrule, but something he made himself using Ultra Hand. He'll also be able to craft boats and flying contraptions out of junk lying around. In Tears of the Kingdom, Hyrule seems to have undergone a vast transformation in which large landmasses now appear in the sky. To demonstrate how Link can reach one of the Sky Islands, Onama used another ability from Link's new kit, Recall. It allows you to rewind time for a certain object. In this case, Onama used Recall on a rock that fell from an island and basically used the rock like a fancy elevator. Once he was high enough, Onama busted out Link's trusty paraglider to reach the Sky Island of his choice. Ascend is the last ability Onama lets us see. It's basically like the escape rope from Pokemon. Are you in a cave? Would you like to get out of it? Hit Ascend to essentially teleport to the cave's roof. I thought all of this looked great. I don't know, like how else to put it. Like it's a showcase of just 4 key abilities within the game in a quick 10-minute thing. But within this very quick time, I'm watching it going, well, that's cool. That's cool. That's cool. Oh, that's cool. Like, it's just a bunch of, and a lot of it's just so simple. Even the like escape, like go to the top of the cave thing. I'm like, that's pretty cool. Like, you know, like they're building a boat. I'm like, well, that's pretty cool. Like they're combining all there's that part where like Link has a pitchfork weapon already and just combines it onto another pole and suddenly has like the largest fucking lance sticking out the back of him that I've ever seen. And he's like, oh, you can attack enemies from far. I'm like, attack them from afar. You can attack them from the other side of the fucking map with that thing. But I'm like, that's pretty cool. Like yeah, it's just the inventivity or whatever, the ingenuity of
creativity. Or
yeah, well, that's the word.
or...
Yeah, no, I'm combining other words.
Yep.
You know, it's a bit.
You are
of
fusing
Nintendo.
words.
Yeah, I'm fusing words like they're fusing rocks with sticks. Is on full display. I feel like it's just, you know, I never finished Breath of the Wild because like I just got so distracted and did other things and whatever else. And it's very, and the thing is, I'm really looking forward to playing this game, and all of these things look really exciting. I'm still left with the same feeling of, would I finish this game? I don't really know. I don't really care. If I can run around for 10 hours and just fuse a bunch of shit and have a great time and be like, I can't be fucked finishing it now. If I did that, like, I'll still be like, I got my fill. Like, that's sort of thing. But Kieran, how do you feel about this 10 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever we got here?
Well, the core, it's really interesting because when you look at the core of Breath of the Wild, the original game, rotates around its 4 very simple abilities, which is being able to freeze stuff, levitate stuff, being able to freeze stuff in time and stop time, and why can I not remember? Oh, magnetize with a magnet, I think. There's one I'm fucking up, but that's
you could link stuff.
But the most interesting thing about it was, though, that even though those abilities were so kind of so simple, they had such nuance and such interesting ways to use it.
Yeah, you see people use them online in crazy ways that you'd never think about.
Yeah, like you see them in freaking speedruns where people get a pot and they'll freeze time, they'll smash it a bunch of times, they'll then stand on the pot and then use it to launch through the air.
Yeah.
And, you know, even for the basic kind of person where it's like, okay, I remember the first time I got to like a fast running river and my stamina wasn't very high. So I couldn't swim across it. So the way I got across it was I just made little ice platforms for myself and like manually jumped across the ice platforms and used it that way. And I think the Breath of the Wild was so full of those that seeing these 4 abilities is exciting for me to see how that's going to be used in Breath of the Wild by your standard player, your freak speed runners, and people who just think creatively about the game. I think there's just going to be endless combinations and possibilities that come out of this game. This fucking trailer gameplay still didn't answer my one most important question, which I'm scared about, and I think is still going to be in the game because
it's in the game. Weapons integration is in the game.
Oh, I didn't.
It's right at the start. Did you not pay attention? The stick breaks.
I didn't.
Yeah, we all love weapon technology.
How did you miss that? At the start, he picks up a stick and he hits a weapon.
I skipped through it. I was like skipping through to different parts of it.
Yeah, so he fights an enemy at the start, and the stick breaks, and they're like, he goes, "Oh no, my stick breaks! I better pick up another one." And then they point out how his stick, like his second one after finishing the fight, is degrading, and it pops up on screen and says your weapon's only broken. Man. And he's like, "Yeah, but if I fuse this stick with a rock, it'll last longer and it'll be stronger."
I think that's what it's really funny. It's what Nintendo does so well is that building sequels on the bones of your past game. Like if you look at the UI for this game, it is exactly the same as the original Breath of the Wild. It is to a T. If you look at this game, despite Link rocking great hair, it's very close to the same looking game. Like it probably runs. Hopefully, it runs well. And I
assume it'll run well. It ain't going to run like it's going to look exactly the same and run exactly the same. But
yeah,
and that's not a bad thing. The first one ran fine. So it's yeah.
And that's the thing is that Zelda, as well as Nintendo franchises in general, have always done that. Majora's Mask is built on the exact same infrastructure and framework as Ocarina of Time. You've got your Pokemon games for a long period of time were just built on the same framework and then tweaked and just improved a little bit every time. I think Nintendo does that very well. They're not like these, and it's probably it's interesting to see how much comes into this game on that framework for this time. I'm excited for it. I'm looking forward to it. Part of me is tempted to quickly go pre-order. I need to look. I haven't even looked if there's any more of the OLED Zelda consoles.
There's no way. There's
probably
way.
no way.
No.
But I was very
No
tempted
way.
to chuck a
There's
pre-order
no. The only way you can get it is through scalpers, probably.
Yeah.
down.
I'll be shocked if that is still pre-orderable days after it went up. That shit's on Facebook Marketplace now for
I
$1,000.
mean, it says you can do a deposit, so pre-order now.
Really?
$550.
All right, maybe you're in then.
Maybe. But then also it could be one of those things where they're like, hey, bro, yeah, look, we got your pre-order, but sorry, we're not going to have it for launch day.
No, it would say wave 1 or wave 2 or whatever.
So strictly one per customer.
Yeah, maybe it's just not in as high demand as I don't know. What is the last thing that fucking sold out really fast?
I don't know.
They
Do any of these
put this on
consoles
this.
actually sell out fast?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe that's the thing.
I feel like this is late enough in the console life cycle that it's like only people who want an upgrade or
Yeah, that's the question.
really
How many
care
people
about
are thinking,
the Zelda.
oh my god, what if they're
Also-
going to release the
Well, I-
Switch,
that's
Super Switch?
Yeah, but I assume Drew brought one for his like collection of 17 million
probably.
fucking.
Drew
I haven't
is-
listened
Drew
to House
is
of Mario
like-
yet, so
Drew is in a minority of people that are too dedicated to the Nintendo cause, which I respect, but at the same time,
well, that's why he owns the House of Mario.
damn, man has a mortgage. I can't compete with that.
House of
I
Mario.
don't think
mortgage.
he's got a bunch of coins in there, so I think it's fine.
He's just got a bunch of coins. Shit.
What do you think about this, Ash? You haven't played the first one, have you?
No. Yeah, it looks good. Looks the same, which I think seemed to upset some people who thought they need to change everything. This needs to be a massive step forward. But all this fusing shit, that looks cool. That looks like very introducing a bunch of creative ways to explore and traverse and play the game. I think that's a massive leap forward, considering Breath of the Wild itself was such a big jump from Zelda previous. So yeah, clearly going to be a really big game this year.
Yeah, so far it's crazy. It's only like a month and a half
44
away.
days?
Yeah, they say
54 days,
44,
something like that.
less now. So like 40 days away probably by the time this is out. 39 days away by the time this is out.
Crazy.
And we've only seen fuck all. So
See, if there had been some sort of live, like in-person event, like heaps of people could have had like hands-on with this, and then we could have
Heaps of
gotten
people
all
would
the
have played the
impressions.
exact same 20 minutes, you know?
is
And
it crazy?
each of those person would have their own interpretation of how those 20 minutes are going. They would have had their own 20 different ways of playing it.
Oh
Is
my
it-
then-
Is it crazy to think about the fact that years ago in 2017 they had the Nintendo Switch at RTX prior to its
Yes.
release?
Yes,
Mhm.
that is crazy to think.
Yeah,
We played what the fuck's
One,
that
two, switch?
game?
One, two,
Yeah,
three,
that one.
Switch.
One,
One,
two,
two,
switch.
switch.
Yeah.
Classic game. They definitely made a sequel to.
One thing that I always remember about that is how Nick, that like playing it there is the reason he ended up getting one, and then he never played it. But playing it at that show made him buy one. So just saying, it works.
That's the thing.
You got
This
the
is
hype.
it's also risky for the you know what? It's a risky thing going to events, right? Especially in Australia where they're largely sponsored by like an EB Games, the EB store. The EB Games Expo, I can't remember what year it was. I had sold my day one Xbox One a year or so
I know
beforehand.
I know this fucking stupid story.
When went to a conference talk by Phil Spencer, walked out of it, put a pre-order down for the Gears of War Xbox One S.
Yep.
Dangerous.
But we all know what you're like.
No.
Someone talks about something with enough
Yeah.
passion, Kieran's going to throw his money down.
Damn. You got me.
It's true though. If enough people are like this is good, you're like,
Must be.
I like good things. I like things that are celebrated as well good.
What? But it's free to. Even if it's like, look, is there a game pass like a battle pass I could buy?
Yeah.
Like microtransaction.
There's some $100 skins.
I've played the game for 10 minutes. I'm dedicated to the battle pass already.
This is my personality now.
Look, I have finished 3 battle passes, 4 battle passes now in the last 6 months. Pat me on the back.
I don't know if finishing battle passes is the same as people do those threads of games that finish this year. Maybe you should do that for battle passes.
Will just be Overwatch season 2, Overwatch season 3, Destiny freaking season of Defiance. Living the dream.
Yeah. Living the dream indeed. All right. Yeah. That'll do it for this week's episode of Arcade Couch. Let us know comments, questions, concerns, your answer to the question of the show, or either by tweeting at us, explosionnetwork.com/Twitter, or join our Discord, explosionnetwork.com/Discord. If you like the show and you want to support it, and or the website, explosionnetwork.com, you can do that by heading to explosionnetwork.com/support. And we'll see you here, same time, same couch, next week. Goodbye.
#SaveE3.